people who are native to or descending from Caribbean regions, territories, nations, including their variations by ancestry, ethnicity, and currently resides within Canada, and voluntarily self-identifies as Caribbean Canadian.
Thank you, Ingrid. I'm going to read the next bit of it. We represent and serve the Caribbean Canadian community. Be mindful in supporting the sole shared identity in our spaces. Please note that labels such as Black, Brown, hate, political, religious, and or racially focused debates are not tolerated in our spaces. We aim to provide a very safe space for our members, especially during these meetups. So as we know, it's really important to maintain that throughout the duration of this meeting. So moving forward, before we get into our segment, how are we feeling tonight? So just a really quick introduction about yourself. What's your name? What Caribbean country are you representing? And how are you feeling tonight in one singular word? I challenge you to use just one word, not a sentence, no elaboration, just one word. So my name is Amanda. I'm representing Guyana, and I am feeling happy. And I will pass it along to Oliver when you have completed your little introduction. Pass it along to the next person until we've been through everyone who's on the call. Okay, so Oliver, go ahead.
So my name is Oliver Levy, co-hosting tonight. I'm also a board member of Caribbean Canadian Chamber of Commerce and Community and Caribbean Canadian Parents United. And I'm feeling pumped. That's where it comes to me. I'm going to pass it over to our beautiful host, another beautiful host, Beverly B.
Hi, good night, everybody. Thank you for that, Oliver. I am representing St. Lucia, and my one word, happy. So I will now pass it over to Ingrid. Oh.
Hi, my name is Ingrid O. I'm a member of the CWS. Actually, the way I feel, knowledgeable today. I've been taking courses in the last 2 days, and I found out some very useful information in the last 48 hours, which I was very astonished, is another good word, to find out about the workplace.
Pass it on to somebody, Ingrid.
Sorry, I am going to pass it on to David.
Thank you, Ingrid. Good to see everybody again. I became a member of the Chamber of Commerce and Community, and obviously a gold member. Once again, happy to be here tonight. I feel grown. That's the word I thought of as you asked. I can explain later for anyone interested. And yeah, I'll pass it on. Oh, I'm from, born in Trinidad, grown up by people from St. Vincent, Union Island, and Jamaica. And I will pass it on to who hasn't done that? Ingrid. Ingrid, who hasn't checked in yet. Thanks.
Hi everyone. I'm Ingrid Berkeley. I'm representing Guyana. I'm a member of the Caribbean Women Society and the Caribbean Canadian Parents United. I'm feeling very encouraged. I'm looking forward to tonight's discussion. And I am going to pass it on to Donnell. She's not here? Okay, I thought I saw her name earlier, but okay. I'll pass it on to Patricia.
Sorry about that. I am Pat Challenger. I'm representing St. Kitts and Nevis, and I feel blessed. And I need to pass it on to someone. And let me see who I pass it on to. Camille.
Thank you. I'm Camille, representing Trinidad and Tobago, and I'm feeling calm. Passing it to Danielle.
Thank you, Kim. I am Danielle, representing St. Vincent and Grenadines. I am a member of CWS and a board member of the Caribbean Canadian Parents United, CCPU. Tonight, I am feeling thankful, and I'll pass it on to Lisa.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa. I'm representing Barbados. And my one word for tonight is grateful. And I will pass it on to Carol.
Hello, everyone. Good night and blessings. My name is Carol. I am feeling fabulous. I pass this on to Mark.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Mark, I'm representing Jamaica. Part of the, I'm a director for the C5, the Caribbean Canadian Chamber of Commerce. Also a member of the CCPU, and I am feeling stress-free today. I will pass it on to Nadia.
Thank you, Mark. My name is Nadia Headley. Everyone calls me Nadia. I'm representing Barbados, and because we started off with Spanish music, tonight I'm also representing the Dominican Republic. And I'm a member of all three organizations, and tonight I'm feeling rested. And that's it. So back over to you, right, Amanda? We got everybody right.
Yes, we have. Thank you so much, Nadia. Also, Patricia Challenger, I don't know if you were on last weekend, but special welcome to you because this is my first time interacting with you. So nice to meet you, and we're happy to have you here tonight with us. Just before we get started, we do want to bring the mood down a little bit and give a little bit of recognition to what's going on in St. Vincent and the natural disaster and everyone affected by what's going on there. So whether you have donated money or you have prayed for those that are in that situation and currently battling them and their families, as well as those in Barbados who are also affected by this natural disaster. Tonight, we just want to give a minute of our time to the people there who are affected by that. So whether you use this time to pray or to give your condolences to those people, we're just going to give it. So we're at, what, 7:10 right now? So just for 1 minute, we're just going to...
Just before you go, thank you, Amanda. Sorry for interrupt. Before you go, I just want to give a little bit of background for those who don't know. Even if you know, just to give a little bit of background what's been happening the last couple of days. So an evacuation was ordered and issued less than a day before the volcano erupted, causing many Vincentians to scramble to find alternative food and shelter in the middle of the pandemic. And 16,000 people have been evacuated. The rescue ship sent to the island will only allow vaccinated residents to board and evacuated. So it kind of left the whole situation more trickier than what everybody expected. In a country where only 11% of residents have been vaccinated, this regulation disappropriately affect those of in the areas of the country that do not have access to vaccines and healthcare. So I just want to give a little bit of background to that before we get into the minutes. Sorry, Amanda, go ahead.
No, thank you, Oliver. That was very helpful. So just for 1 minute, we'll sit in silence and kind of give our thoughts and prayers to those who are in that situation. So beginning right now, and I will let you know when the minute is up. Alrighty, thank you everyone for participating in that. And right now what we're going to do is we'll move right into Nadia's segment. But before we get started with that, Beverly, you can go ahead. And Nadia, we're looking forward to hearing what you have to share.
Well, you already did the intro, so let's go, Nadia. That's all right.
I realized that after, and I was like, what is she gonna say?
Right?
Well done, Amanda. That's because you're extra efficiency. So thank you guys for that, Oliver, the update, and Amanda and Beverly and everyone, the moment of silence. I used to live in St. Vincent when I was a little girl. It was my first out of Barbados country that I lived in, and I have a lot of very fond memories growing up there. And so we're still trying to find people and make sure people are okay and stuff like that. So I really appreciate that. Okay, well, today we're talking about living pink and the pink life. And it's really ironic because growing up, I always hated the color pink, and I pretty much never wore anything pink or did anything remotely girly if I could avoid it. In 2015, I did an event in Barbados called I Live Pink, and it changed my life, and we will talk about that. So I think I can share my screen for that. Okay, so I Live Pink. This is my story, and our conversation is about embracing life despite cancer. All right, so let me ask all of you a question, and you can type it in the chat. What is one word that comes to mind when you hear the word cancer? Just one word that comes to your mind when you hear the word cancer. Deadly, chemo, scary, adapt. Thank you. Anyone else? Mom, pain. Thank you, Camille. Thank you, Ingrid. Friends. Chemo. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Sister, fear, cousin, and friends. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. For me, it would have been others. You know, it happened to other people. All right. Hope. Thank you. Thank you, Ingrid, for adding that one. Right. Cancer was something distant. It was something that I saw on TV. You know, for many years. But it wasn't, you know, it wasn't something I expected to touch my life. So this is me. I define myself as empathetic and optimistic, hopelessly optimistic, and pragmatic and highly enthusiastic. Roles I play: I am a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a friend to many, and I'm family to many. In my community, I'm a leader, I'm a change maker, I'm a communicator, and I'm an entrepreneur. And there is so much more to my life than a cancer diagnosis. All right, so my personal journey with cancer. So I've always been extremely energetic. If anybody ever meets my daughter, it will make total sense. I used to be one of those four mornings a week at 5 a.m. gym people. And when I was back in Barbados, we would go swimming every other Friday. Sorry, it was swimming every Friday and hiking every other Friday. So I would plan my hairstyle appointments to, you know, the weekend of swimming and hiking. I was a very active mom. Together, my husband and I, we have 3 kids, but the little one, she's basically like an only child. So, you know, a lot of my life was wrapped up in her and what she needed. And in Barbados, there's a terminology for people like me, it's called hot foot. That's people who can't keep quiet, right? So always on the move, always going somewhere, traveling, just loving to explore and experience life. I'm a super foodie. So I love to eat like as much authentic local cuisine as I could possibly get to. I'm very adventurous with food, much to my husband's chagrin. And yeah, I just always loved to be out and about, you know, meeting new people. At 30 years old, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And why I mentioned the event I Love Pink, in 2015, we did this event to support the Barbados Cancer Society. And in doing the promo research, you know, I came across, you know, how you do your checks at home and, you know, what are some symptoms to look out for and things like that. And so although I was really young, I started doing my own breast checks, and that is how I found the lump myself. And I knew enough from that event to recognize at what point I needed to go to the doctor. So that's why I say that it changed my life and it saved my life. And it was a panel discussion, and one of the panel members, she actually became like one of my anchors throughout chemo. Right, she was the person that I could call on the phone and not say anything, right, and just be there. I could message her like 500 messages at 2 o'clock in the morning because, you know, chemo had me up, you know, and she would be there. So my treatment plan consisted of fertility preservation, which a lot of people don't realize is a part of the cancer treatment plan. If you are, I think it's below 40 in Canada, that OHIP covers your first attempt at fertility preservation. So yeah, a lot of people don't recognize that chemotherapy and radiation, they actually mess with your ability to have children. And so for both men and women, there's fertility preservation available. I did chemotherapy. Fun fact, chemo isn't just chemo. Like it's not one drug. I thought that you go for chemotherapy that everybody got like Tylenol, right? Like you say you're gonna go grab an Advil or something. It is a whole world, right? It's very specific. So, you know, massive shout out and thanks to the people who do that. Also really fun fact, at Humber River Hospital, your chemo is mixed by a robot, which is pretty cool. And you can kind of see it there mixing to very specific criteria. I'm also on hormone therapy for 10 years because of the type of breast cancer that I had. That's something that is of note. Again, a diagnosis. So we hear breast cancer, we hear lung cancer, we hear, you know, stomach cancer, whatever. That does not mean that everyone with that diagnosis is facing the same thing. So there's more than one kind of breast cancer, right? There's more than one kind of each. You know, when they say the body parts, that does not describe the type of cancer that a person actually has. And so treatment protocols change based on that. I was supposed to get radiation, and that was the one thing that I was praying not to have to do. And I kind of fought with my doctor a little bit. And she knows I'm a numbers person, so she gave me a whole bunch of numbers on what happens if you take radiation versus if you don't. And so she sent me off to the radiation doctor. And I was planning, you know, we had the whole thing going. They were supposed to give me radiation. And then right before we were set to go, the radiation doctor looked back at my pathology report from surgery, and he realized that they had removed the entire tumor. They didn't leave any in. So he goes, you know, we're not going to give you radiation because radiation, it hits your body even harder than chemo. A lot of people don't know that. And so he said, like, if God forbid there's recurrence, you'll have to get radiation then, but we don't want to overwhelm your body unnecessarily. So yay, no radiation, which was great because then, as you see in point 3, it made me a really good candidate for reconstructive surgery, which everyone is not a candidate for. Again, so understanding what people are going through, asking questions is important because not everybody's process is going to be the same. I have some new hair. It's finally growing out. It's very different from my original natural hair. So one of the things to let you know is that your hair is going to change. They don't know how it will change. Some people have curly hair, they come back with straight hair, and vice versa. People's hair change color, all sorts of stuff. So my hair is like much lighter, a lot more manageable. I could not keep my original hair open. This would not have been able to happen. I wet it and it turned super curly. In Barbados, we would say Dougla hair. I don't know if what y'all, right? So like mixed hair. So I'm pretty much really, if I had one good thing come out of out of this, that I got really manageable hair. I've changed my perspective. I'm still really active and energetic, but I'm taking on this new perspective of welcoming rest into my life, taking breaks, taking a hiatus. Sometimes I feel as an entrepreneur, sometimes I feel guilty taking a break, or even ashamed to admit to other entrepreneurs that I block off a whole week of my calendar to just rest. And then I was like, yeah, so none of these people were here when I was doing chemo, so I don't have to be ashamed of taking a break. I'm gonna go sleep, right? I tell the story a lot. I talk very openly about my journey because at 30 years old, it's an anomaly with no family history, no genetic coding that would suggest that this would make sense for my age. And so I tell the story so that our young people, women and men, understand that it is important to have yourself checked for breast cancer. And I show up to serve in as many different ways as I can. So we have right now a conversation that we need to have on what do you do, right? So you've heard my story and I'm telling most of it in past tense, but what do you do when someone that you know is diagnosed with cancer, right? With all of those words that came to your mind, what do you do? I need 2 volunteers, please. Any 2 will do. Let's see, is that the chat? The chat is pinging. Danielle, I see your hands. So Danielle says be there. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Danielle. That's definitely one of the things that you want to do. So Danielle, you're volunteering. I need 1 more volunteer, please. Ingrid, thank you. Okay, so I unmute your mics and I'm going to set my phone timer to 60 seconds. And you guys are going to have a conversation with each other in 60 seconds, but you're not allowed to use any personal pronouns. So no first person pronouns. I, me, we, us, our, no first person plural or singular pronouns. Whole conversation. Ready? Go.
Do we have a topic?
I'm not ready. Can you explain it again, Nadia? Explain the activity, please.
So they're going to have a conversation. They have 1 minute to have a conversation on anything without using any first person pronouns, not first person plural or singular, not I, we, us, our, me, any of that. Okay. All right. Okay. So go.
Hey, what's happening?
Not much. How is the weather?
You know what? It's nice and sunny today. No complaints.
There we go. So
rain was supposed to fall last night, but the streets are dry.
Living in Cambridge, it's not too bad. It's been a little bit of rain, but mostly sunny.
That's good. Spring is finally here.
And you know what? The flowers are looking good.
April showers bring May flowers.
That's what, oh, go ahead.
3, 2, 1. Okay. What was that like for you, ladies?
A lot of thought, apprehension, slowing it down. Tricky.
Yes.
Yeah, tricky and very impersonal, hard to relate.
Yeah. So, it's the most natural thing to do is to talk about ourselves. And one of the amazing gifts that you can give to a person who's been recently diagnosed is to let them talk, right? One of the best ways to have a conversation, I mean, what did you guys have to start with? A question. What's happening, right? Is to ask the questions and then listen, right? When sometimes out of nervousness, some people feel the need to fill the space in with words, and that's really not usually very necessary, right? So ask questions, find out what's going on with them, find out how they're feeling, find out what specific help they need. How can you help in very practical ways? I had amazing people who would bring food, take my daughter to school, clean my house, you know, just really practical stuff. The fatigue that your body experiences with chemo and radiation is unfathomable. And this is coming from a super energetic person, right? So it was, you know, it's like, it was a big shock for me and for my body, right? Be present, be really present. And present doesn't always mean physically, you know, but be open enough that they know that you're there, right? You're a resource. You are someone that they can call. Okay, a few things of what not to do. These are my caveats. A few things to not do when somebody you know has been diagnosed. Please do not try to be the expert. I really appreciate all the natural stuff. I did a lot of it myself. But one of the things that, this is me personally talking, one of the things that really like would grit me when people would send me those videos that are like, oh, just drink hot lemon water in the morning and ginger tea and boil up some garlic and that would get rid of your cancer. I was like, oh, would it now? Right? And, you know, things like, oh, this is all you have to do and then you'll never get cancer. I was like, okay, so then the flip side of that is, so because I wasn't drinking hot lemon water every morning, I gave it to myself. You understand like how things can be internalized. So, you know, don't be the expert, right? Allow people to do their search on their own and find the things that suit them. The other thing is on chemo, your taste buds completely change. It's like being pregnant. There are lots of things that you may have loved that you can't stomach to be around. I am way too much of a foodie to let any food waste, so I ate everything. But most people can't handle spice, can't handle certain smells, you know, even perfume and whatnot. So just because something looks like a good recipe or a home remedy doesn't even mean that they'll be able to tolerate it. You also get new allergies. So like I couldn't touch dish soap, which I mean, got me out of washing dishes, so I didn't mind. Right? But there was all sorts of different new allergies that crop up just in that time frame. Do not rely on Google. So I don't know if you guys have ever been to WebMD, but it doesn't really matter what symptom you have, you always end up with cancer at the end. Just scroll down, and by the time you get there, it's like no matter what your symptom is, it's always going to point that direction. Stay off of that stuff, right? All the doctors said, listen, it is better to be ignorant than to know a little bit, right? And so they would caution against going on the web and getting information from there. It's better to just take the pamphlets. I asked my doctor a million questions. So encourage your friend, family member to ask their doctor, encourage them to write their questions down in between, what do you call it, appointments, so that they have their questions ready when they go there. Be careful not to blame your friend or family member. This is not a good time to remind them that you told them to take a diet a couple months ago. This is not a good time to remind them of all of, you know, their health habits that they could have done better. Even if it's true, this is just not the time to have that conversation, okay? So, you know, ease up off their fries and potato chips and all that kind of stuff. This is just not the time to have that. I've heard people say they've been asked things like, oh, so how come you're so healthy and you catch it? You know, like, what did you do to put yourself in a position to catch this thing, you know, because it's transmittable, right? Please do not disappear. Everyone deals with bad news in different ways, and everyone has different coping mechanisms. Disappearing is really betrayal, right? And so, you know, it comes down to, well, if you couldn't be here at this point, why are you here at my birthday party? You know what I mean? Like, why are you eating my food in my house, kind of thing. So be honest about your discomfort with the conversation and say, listen, this is hard to hear and I don't know how to be right now, right? Be honest with that, be transparent with that, because then your friend or your family member can say, well, listen, you know, in all honesty, look, if you could just like pay Uber Eats to send me a meal once a month, I'd be totally grateful, you know. At least then now they have the opportunity to give you some space as opposed to you just, you know, falling off the face of the earth. All right. So, all right, now we have another activity, and this is for everyone. So everybody, let me see your fingers. Okay, touch your nose, touch your toes, touch your shoulders, touch your elbows, touch your breasts, right? It's a body part. It's just like all the other body parts. Men get breast cancer too, okay? So on the 1st of every month, we say touch your tatas, all right? Do your checks. No, checking yourself is not the same as calling it to yourself, okay? We talked about the RAS before, right? There is a difference between proactivity and precaution and fear, okay? If you are checking yourself from this emotion that is driving you of, oh my God, I probably have this thing, then whether or not you check, actually, that is more attractive than plainly and calmly checking your body, okay? Get your annual checkups, men as well. You know, I want you guys to know that it is more likely for a man to die of breast cancer than a woman because men don't get checked, okay? So although the occurrence of breast cancer in men is much lower, death rates are much higher. So please, to everyone, please make sure that you do that, okay? Do the basics. No matter what you're going through, nobody's gonna disagree with the basics. Balanced meal, exercise, sleep, water, low stress, right? There's a lot more research on the causes of stress and high cortisol levels in the body, producing different types of cancers. So keeping your stress low, very important. Again, check your tatas every 1st of the month, men and women. And for women, the rule of thumb is over the age of 50 to schedule your mammograms. Under that, the machinery may not be able to actually find anything. So your best bet is always your self-check. Go get your annual medical and be really chummy with your doctor. My husband doesn't understand, like me and my doctor are like best friends. These are some really good resources that I like to suggest to anyone. So Fertile Future, they supplement the fertility preservation costs. So what OHIP doesn't cover, they cover a bit more. So our fertility, the whole thing was like $30,000 or something. And we paid like $300 after, you know, after all the work that the charity did. And I was lucky enough that my fertility doctor was on the board for this charity. So that made my process like really simple. Nanny Angel Network, they provide free babysitting services to families where mom has cancer, is going through active cancer treatment, or has just finished treatment. They also stay with families for a year after if mom passes. This charity was started by a breast cancer survivor, a mom herself who owned a nanny agency. And she was sitting down there watching a woman in the, like, getting her chemo with her 2 kids crawling all over her, and watching the, you know, little kids, they're like tiny, like 2 years old or so, pulling her scarf off and watching this mom cry, and she's just thinking, this is not fair. You shouldn't have to deal with this diagnosis and then not have anyone to support you as well. There are also moms who make a harder decision, who do not get treatment because they do not have anyone to watch their kids, right? So Nanny Angel provides 4 hours of highly trained nanny services for moms who need that support. During the pandemic, they also provided meals so that moms who are in active treatment would not have to go to the store. So they would send fully cooked meals so that you wouldn't have to go and be exposed with COVID and everything going on. After breast cancer helps with providing prostheses, surgical bras, camisoles, free of charge. If you have insurance and you can pay for it, I encourage people to do that, because then they'll be able to give to people who don't have insurance or they have inadequate insurance. So if your insurance doesn't cover it, then they'll do that. The average prosthetic costs just under $500 for one. So if you have a double mastectomy, it's about $1,000. And the government gives you back, I think, $195. So you have to be able to spend that money, wait 12 weeks, and then get back very little of it. And most insurance companies will also, they'll remit after you receive that money back from the government, from the assisted device program or something like that, right? Okay, so that's it from me. Do you guys have any questions? Are you curious about anything? I tend to be a pretty open book. Thank you, Camille.
Thank you for sharing your story.
Sorry, Carol?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hear your question.
I said, how are you now? How are you feeling? How are you doing? How are you coping?
Thank you. I'm doing pretty well now. I was really scared that I wouldn't get my energy back. I am back to my high energy self, but I have to manage that because it runs out. And so, again, being really intentional about rest. I was supposed to have a surgery number 2 out of 3 surgeries in a couple of weeks, but lockdown has shifted that back. I'm in the breast reconstruction period now, so it's like good surgeries. So as long as I'm between surgeries, I'm good, but then right after it sucks for just a few weeks, but right now I feel pretty good. Thank you.
Thank you. It was a very great presentation.
Any other questions?
Did you, going through it, did you have any, as you said, you didn't have any radiation, but then again, you said that you lost your hair. Is that from the, was it IV chemo, or was it just pill chemo? Because there's different kinds of chemo.
Yeah. So I had IV chemo. I had the port. So for some of us who don't know, so when you put chemo indirectly into your veins, it destroys your veins, making it really difficult for any, like say you need a different kind of surgery years down the road, it makes it nearly impossible, heart surgeries and different things like that. So someone gave me the tip, a breast cancer graduate gave me the tip. So to ask them for the port, where it's weirder, like it sounds weirder than it really is, but they put the chemo directly into like your jugular, like your big arteries, that can handle the poison, right? As opposed to going through your tiny veins. Yeah, so my hair fell out, like it started falling out after dose 1. They gave me the strongest of everything that they had that was right for my protocol because of my age, and the cancer I was diagnosed with was highly aggressive. I found 1 tumor, but there were 3 tumors and 2 fragments. It was like going through my lymph nodes, like stage 3. So it was about to try to spread to the rest of my body, right? And I felt fine, right? I was like, what are y'all talking about? I have these bad headaches every once in a while, but other than that, I feel great. So I did get the IV chemo. My hair fell out right away. My husband had cut my hair for me. We had a whole party. I remember thinking, oh, I was going to show a video. I forgot, Beverly. Anyways, I remember thinking like, you know, this thing is going to take so much from me, but it's not going to take my personality. And so I was like, what would I do? I would have a party because I love, you know, feeding people. So we cut my hair off and then we tie-dyed scars. So this is actually one of the tie-dye scars that my friends made for me. And everybody, I had long dreadlocks. Everybody got a chance to cut off a couple of my locks. And my daughter, who was 4 at the time, thought it was pretty funny to make like an impromptu wig on her head with my dreads. But that also made the moment, you know, a lot more bearable. And I look kind of cute with my short hair too. I was kind of like, ooh, this might stay. But it's still what we didn't prepare for. So we thought that like when your hair falls out, that it's just like if you shave it and it grows back, but that's not it. Like from the follicle it goes. So when it grows back, it's like brand new little baby hair, you know, like wispy and everything. It's like brand new hair. So we went with a low cut, but I would suggest just shaving it all off, because then I still had to deal with the clumps falling out. So yeah. Thank you, Ingrid. Beverly, I'm good to take more questions, but I don't know.
Ingrid has her hands up.
Ingrid B has a question.
Yeah. What I was going to ask, and you might have said this, Nadia, and I missed it. Is there a family, did you have a family history? Do you have a family history at all?
No, so we have no family history of breast or ovarian cancer. Those are connected cancers. We did have one family member who had some rare, strange form of cancer. They could never figure out where it came from. And that was my first interaction with cancer in the family. But she was also not in my genetic line. So as the geneticist explained, her experience would not have been a direct impact on mine, but nobody in my genetic line had breast or ovarian cancer.
Okay, thanks. And thank you very much for sharing. It takes a lot of courage.
David, did you have a question for Nadia?
Yes. Yeah, congratulations on your success, and hope you're doing well for the beautiful future. I don't want to open a can of worms, but I have to ask this question. I was at a seminar recently for medical professionals, and as a Caribbean person, I'm just wondering, you're bright and you're educated, and you're relatively young. Did you meet with any?
No, I'm just young, David. Okay, I don't need
just young.
The
I find you to be educated and bright as well. Did you meet with any systemic problems in the hospital system? Because you might be looked at as a minority, but I'm wondering, being a Caribbean person, a Bayesian, how you were treated in, let's say, Mount Sinai, Toronto General, I don't even know which hospital you visited, but you probably were in the system for quite a while. So that's my question.
Yeah, so I actually was seen at 3 different hospitals, Humber River, Etobicoke General, and Credit Valley in Mississauga. So I recently was featured in an article talking about this actually. I did not have the same experience as Black Canadians. And I think a lot of it was approach, to be honest. Having had that conversation afterwards, I had no problem advocating for myself. I had no problem asking a million questions. And, you know, again, I didn't grow up as a minority, although I would be seen as one here. So I had very good relationships with all of my doctors. Yeah, I personally did not face it. And I will tell you this, some of the harshest nurses were our own. That's the truth. right? Some of the, you know, treat you rough kind of nurses, they were our own. That's the truth. On the other side, I was really happy that I had nurses from a Caribbean background. I'll tell you also, it's more about system, like your hospital system, because, well, we're recording, so I don't want to call names, but let's go with the positive. Humber River Hospital, they have like a systemic approach to care, and they put the patient first. And so it's an anomaly to be treated with disrespect at Humber River Hospital. You know, it's not the rule. Whereas at other places, it felt more like the rule to be treated harshly. My first, I had a Jamaican nurse, and she was given an instruction that she didn't agree with. And she said, hold on a minute, sweetheart, because I am not about to come and mess you up. Let me go and check. And me and my husband waited, and she went and fight with the oncologist. And she asked everybody, she's like, no, y'all have to tell me exactly what to do with this young lady. And she did not give me that first dose of chemo until she was convinced and clear that everything was good to go, right? And I really, really appreciated that, and I appreciated her. I cannot say that I personally experienced racism in you know, going to any of the hospitals. Yeah, and anything that I dealt with, I more chalked it up to lack of professionalism than, you know, me directly, you know, relating it as a race issue. I'm also like running through my mind to think of if I experienced any microaggressions or, you know, anything like that. I don't have any recollection of things like that. I had run-ins with nurses who were smoking, who were talking to my face with their secondhand smoke and breathing out, you know, third-hand smoke on my shirt and stuff. I was like, you know, right out of surgery. I was like, why is this nurse tending to me and her breath smells like cigarette smoke? It happened a couple times. Not at Humber River Hospital. As you can tell, I have a lot of love in my heart for HRH. So yeah. And I've been seen by lots of different doctors. I've not been seen by doctors who look like me, but certainly there were a lot of nurses, a lot of support staff. But I would love to see an oncologist that looks like me. That would be great.
Anybody else? Okay. Thank you very much for that, Nadia. That was really, really great. Yeah, it was fantastic. And you know, the way you presented it, it's just strictly, it was information with a little bit of anecdotes from your own experience. So, because, you know, conversations like this can be quite heavy for people, right? But this is good. Like I feel like I know some stuff now, right? So it's good. So I don't know if anybody else, you know, feels the same way. And it was really, really well done. And
Yes,
thank you. Yeah.
I love the do's and don'ts.
Mm-hmm.
The do's and don'ts sections, people really don't know what to say or do. So that was super helpful. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, guys. So Beverly, thank you everyone for the opportunity to share. And now I'm just going to ask you to, in the chat, to leave a one-word takeaway, because I want us to be able to compare our one word now versus that hearing the word cancer at the beginning. So just a one-word takeaway in the chat. And then Beverly, Amanda, Oliver, back over to you guys. Informative, hopeful, thank you. Resilient, thank you. Resilience, thank you. Growth, informed, enlightened, thanks guys. Thanks, guys. See how some information in the right atmosphere could change? Same conversation, right? Yeah.
So Oliver, are you up next? Or is that Amanda? No.
It would be I. I am
okay.
up next.
Sorry.
So yes, just to add to what Beverly said, Nadia, thank you so much. You did an incredible job of taking something that can have a very large potential of being sad and sorrow and creating it into something that is very informative. Just another great thing that you're great at, if you weren't great at enough things already. So what we're going to do now is we'll move into our discussion section, and we're going to talk about a couple questions that we have, and we'll go through and have everyone share a little bit of their or give a little bit of their answers so that we can just facilitate conversation for a bit. And then we'll move on and do some riddles and send out our feedback form. Does anyone at this point, does anyone have any last questions that they want to ask Nadia, or any questions that they want to get out in the open at all? No? Okay.
Nadia, I would like to, sorry, Amanda, I just want to say that was very brave, and I appreciate it very much, because we don't know what our lot is. We don't know when, where, how. We live life to the fullest, and I am very grateful to have gotten to know you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ingrid. Thanks to everyone.
I have to second that as well. So if anyone else has anything to say, now would be the time before we move on from this segment.
Sorry, I always have a bunch of questions, but I think we have time maybe for this one, and it's a two-part question. We mentioned St. Vincent earlier with a minute of silence, and I just recently became a member of this group. But what I see is the similarity is, my question to Nadia is finance during treatment. And for the Caribbean Canadian community, if we actually hold any pots in helping people. I remember we had one after hours discussion about poverty and starving people and stuff, and it went on for a couple hours there. But on this note, I've heard, and I'd like to think I'm more informed now, but I've heard that cancer is expensive to look after. And you always hear about, when you ask the first word, what do you think of in cancer? Right away, I thought about money and getting proper health care without money. And the people in St. Vincent not having money, or someone with breast cancer, without money. So the question is, I'm wondering if Caribbean Canadian community has a pot where people can put the money and it gets to the right people, the right Caribbean Canadian people. That's my question.
So yeah, cancer is expensive to treat. And I mean, I don't know that it's covered in any of the 3 mandates specifically, but if we were to do something like that, I would say to get really highly niched on exactly who and how you want to help, because there is so much out there. In Canada, there are 2 main groups. There are those in the system and out of the system. There are a lot of people who will die unnecessarily from all different kinds of cancers and other ailments just because they're locked out of the healthcare system, right? I might tease my American friends and tell them that my green card in Ontario is more powerful than their green card for all of the US, because I have that OHIP card, right? Weighs so much more. When I was diagnosed, I really came close to being misdiagnosed. And once one of my doctors got a hint that there was something, he kept pushing, and he pushed all the way through. And I did tests in the diagnostic process that wouldn't be the average test. And my cousin asked me, how come I did so many tests? She was like, she doesn't know anybody that would have done that many tests. And that was the first time that I thought about money. I said, honestly, I did not have to ask how much any of the tests cost. It never crossed my mind. They called and said, your doctor told us that you're a priority for an MRI. We have a free spot today. Can you come? And I said yes. All right. And that's because I was in the system. You're out of the system. Like, you know, I probably might not have gotten past the ultrasound. You know, I may never have gotten a mammogram. You know, and all of these preliminary tests came back saying that I was fine. Right. So yeah, it's a lot. I know very few people who've been able to get their treatment outside of the Caribbean. I've heard of people selling houses and stuff to get the money. It's no little bit of money to help out. But I would say if you want to do something really specific and probably leverage that. Yeah, as Ingrid always saying, one treatment can cost like $1,400. I had to inject myself, what was it? Like an immune booster, right? Because you're highly susceptible to infection. And I mean, a small scrape could be deadly when you're on chemo. And I had to get 3 of them, and each of them cost $2,500, right? Covered by my insurance, thankfully, right? But that wasn't even the chemo, right? Then there's, along with chemo, there's steroids. There's a whole steroid protocol to help reduce your experience of side effects. That's a whole other set of money. And then the stress of, if you're locked out of the system, if you don't have adequate insurance, you know, the stress of filling out 1 million forms when you have chemo brain and you can barely focus, it's really hard. So I would, if there was any interest, Camille and board members, in going that direction, I would find one very specific thing. I would probably also work with an organization that, you know, is fully fledged and focused on doing that, and just ask them what's one way that we can help, and focus on that, because it is massive. It's a lot. There's a lot going on. There's a million ways you can help. It can become overwhelming. So that's what I would say. Find one area.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So David, I just wanted to just let you know though too, like as an organization, we don't have that financial capacity to be able to do that. But I don't see, like what Nadia just said, working, you know, maybe with a couple of organizations. Just, you know, sometimes they just need extra persons to be on, you know, on their board or volunteer or whatever. So that, you know, might be something, you know, individually, if that's, you know, what people want to do, then definitely maybe they can reach out to you, Nadia, and you can make suggestions where or what organizations.
Okay. After breast cancer, sorry, just to say, after breast cancer is actually owned and run by a Caribbean woman from Grenada. So that could be a low-hanging fruit, right, of possible partnership there if we wanted to find someone that we could support.
Great, thank you. Okay, Amanda, I think you can go on now.
Thank you, Nadia, and to everyone else. I will take this moment actually to do our 5-minute deep breathing so that we can kind of recuperate and come back to a whole new segment ready to go. So we're refreshed and we're ready to start with our questions. So Danielle, whenever you're ready, 5 minutes is yours.
Thanks, Amanda. So, as we do every other Sunday, we do our yoga stretch and our deep breathing. So today I will lead you in 5 minutes deep breathing. So when you're ready, just close your eyes and think of an intention that you wish to set for these 5 minutes, something that you're hoping to set an intention for the week. And just take some deep Cleansing breath slowly in through the mouth, in through the nose, for a count of 4, and gently out through the mouth for a count of 4. Repeat again now. And as you're taking your deep breaths, focus your energy on intention, whether that be gratitude, positive vibration, peace, love, good health. Just focus on that intention. Continue to take those deep breaths. And if you're anything like me, I like to know how I'm doing these breathing exercises. It helps release the tension in the body as you continue to breathe in and out. So you want to drop on the side and just hold your breath. Bringing your attention into the present moment. Staying with your attention. Just being gentle with yourself for this moment. In that gratitude, for that peace, that love, that joy, whatever your intention is, just stay with it in this present moment. When you're ready, just close your eyes. Bringing yourself back into the room. Feeling the gratitude for the moment, for the breath. And if you feel the need to do some stretches, you can just probably with some shoulder shrugging. Just getting some tension out of your shoulder. Change direction. That concludes our deep breathing and stretch for our meetup. Hope that's brought you into more solitary and setting good intentions for this moment. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Danielle. Thank you so much. Alrighty, so now that we have regrouped and we are ready to discuss, let's get into our discussion. All right, so we have a couple questions, and just like other meetings, I'll ask the question, I will start by answering, and then I will hand it off to someone else the same way we did with our one word, how we're feeling at the beginning of this meeting. And then we'll go through and we'll have everyone answer at least once. And yeah, so the very first question that we are going to ask this week is, what would you try if you knew you wouldn't fail? So if you knew that failure was not an option, what would be the one thing that you would start? Or what would be the one thing that you would do? I'm going to start by answering this question since I'm the one asking it. I think the one thing that I would do if I knew I wouldn't fail and if I knew it was going to be smooth sailing would be starting a business, some type of business where I could do things that were hands-on, whether it's make a skincare product or something arts and crafts, something DIY. I love using my hands. I love also teaching. So maybe I would do something teaching. No, I wouldn't. It would be some type of business, something where I know that the things that I sell would be valued by the people who buy them and they would be unique. There has to be something unique about it. But yeah, I would definitely do that part-time on the side, something to just have to let my creative juices flow. That way I'm not just focused on one thing all the way throughout my life. I have different things, different options, different ways to de-stress. So if I knew I wouldn't fail and if I knew all things would go well, that's definitely what I would do. I am going to hand it off to Oliver.
That's funny. Oh, she said starting a business. Wow. That was interesting, Amanda. For me, wow. Whew. What would I do if I know I would fail? I would say be the first Caribbean Canadian Prime Minister. Yep. That's what I would do.
Very ambitious. I love that, Oliver. Thank you.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I don't know what else I want to say about that, but that's one thing I'll do if I know. I could try if I know I would fail. I'm gonna pass it over to let me hear what Carol has to say.
Thanks, Oliver.
You're welcome.
Well, I look at this as a win-win situation. I like to sing. So if I wouldn't fail at this, I love to be a great singer. But then again, I say it's a win-win because right now people pay me not to sing. So this is a win-win situation. I'm successful at both.
Thank you. Thank you, Carol.
So I pass it over to Ingrid. Ingrid O.
I think if I could not fail at what I would like to do is go to the Caribbean islands where there is a lot of poverty and help out. Maybe visit the schools, take care of the kids a little bit, teach them if I could. That's what I think I would do. Who am I passing it off to? I think I'm going to pass it off to Daniela.
Thanks, Ingrid. One thing I would do, I've always wanted to start a nursing home, actually in St. Vincent. There's nothing of the sort like that there. So if I had a chance to do that without failing and it would be very successful, I would do that. And then, extend that reach to the other islands if they require some elderly care for the elderly. I would do that.
Okay, Danielle, and who would you like to pass it on to?
Camille.
Thank you. For me, short answer, swim.
Camille, you can't swim?
Not to save my life, Amanda.
Oh no, that is not good.
Don't worry, I'm not going in any bodies of water anytime soon.
I know, but we still need to work on that. And Camille, who are you passing it on to?
Oh yes, thank you. Lisa.
So it's interesting because we had done this with our family earlier today, and I also said swim. Yep. It'd have to be swimming for me as well.
All right, Lisa, and who are we passing it to?
David.
Thank you, Lisa. Yeah, I have a lot to say, but I'll try and keep it short. Yeah, my spirituality, I wish everyone was like me without even diving into the ocean of religion, but I won't go there. I like what Ingrid said about going to the Caribbean, but I would, if I was guaranteed it would be safe, I would go a little bit beyond the faith and the sharing of even a food restaurant or health and Canadian health and Caribbean food and that kind of business. That would probably be my main objective. The best food and the best health is a bet. People think there's no culture in Canada. Well, I kind of disagree. I think there's many great cultures in Canada, and that's Canadian. And so I would spread that in the Caribbean with the great food, all in one, all in several locations. You can call it King David's Hostel. Thank you. I will pass it on to Mark. Did I see Mark? Or I heard his name anyway.
Yep, I'm here. Thanks, David.
Okay.
I'm taking a page out of your book and I'm thinking big here. So I would put on a campaign and work toward stopping world hunger. So everybody gets rice, David. Bowl of rice, maybe more. But yeah, just trying to solve that problem. That's what I would be working on. And I will pass it on to Patricia.
Before you pass it on,
you
pass it on, what would you call the name? Bowl of rice?
I don't know. I have to think about that one. I'll get David to help me with a name. But thank you. I'll pass it on to Patricia.
Well, I'm with Camille and Lisa. I also cannot swim, but I think I would try to do something sport. Not only can I not swim, I don't know how to ride. I can't ride a bike. So if there's a way that someone could make me balance on anything, even on this anything, I'll be happy. So I'm going to pass it on to Nadia. Did you go? To Nadia. Great presentation.
Thank you, Patricia. So I am doing it, but I would prefer to do it with the surety that it wouldn't fail. So I'm working to eventually someday open a parallel school system in the Caribbean, an alternative to mainstream free education that focuses on educating the whole child and on appreciating that there's more than that. Intelligence is not binary. You're not smart or dumb, right? That there's more than one way to be intelligent, and helping children to hone their natural abilities and skills. So that's what I would do if I knew it couldn't fail. And to all those with business ideas, do it anyways. Right? And I am going to pass on to Carol. Have you gone yet? Yes, the singing. Okay. Did both Ingrids go? Okay, so Ingrid B.
There's a couple of things I was going to say, but in the same category as swimming, I can swim. The one thing I've always wanted to do is to learn how to dive. I just simply cannot get myself to go underneath the water. And that's been one of my struggles. So that is really one of the things I want to do, especially when we travel. Just want to be able to do that. Oh, and I think everyone's gone, right?
I haven't.
Oh, sorry, Bev.
Oh, no,
Turn it over to Bev.
Okay. So I've been sitting here trying to think what possibly now. There's two things that I originally had wanted to do in my young life. One was to become a lawyer, and I talked myself out of that. And the other thing was to become a psychologist. And family reasons why I never did. But those two specifically would be what I'd want to do.
Thank you, Bev. And like Nadia said about the business, if you want to open a business, just do it. Bev, I've told you before, just do it. And also, I am so surprised at how many of you Caribbeans cannot swim. Oh my God. We need a Caribbean swimmer.
Carol's got her hand up as well. So she can. But you know what I find to be funny is the fact that they cannot swim, but they're always at the beach though. Like in the Caribbean, they're at the beach. Doesn't mean they're going in the water necessarily, but they're at the beach.
Can I fear the parents? The parents, no, don't go near the water. Don't go in the water. I think
exactly. You go for a sea bath. Yeah, you go for a sea bath. You don't go to swim. You just go and dip and let the salt water, heal you and, I can swim, by the way.
Or you go and sunbathe.
Yeah.
Sunbathe, right? You don't go in the sea. You just sunbathe.
Just go to look good.
Yes.
Oliver, you were going to say something?
Yeah, something that probably will surprise you. I can barely swim. Yeah, I can barely swim. However, because I take risk, for me, unlike Ingrid, I can go in the deep end. I'm comfortable underneath. Above water, I can't do. Underneath, I'm good. I can go way out underneath and just come right back. So it's interesting because when I was running camps, you have to be able to swim. You have to have your level 7 or whatever, right? So they all thought I had it. They never tested me. They all thought I had it. So they challenged me. It was a challenge going around in the community center, and they challenged me to jump off in the deep end, right? I'm like, well, yeah, no problem. I jump off in the deep end, and I just dove, and I went down, stayed down, and I just dived right back out to the shallow end. They all didn't know that I can't. I'm not comfortable above water. I can stay above water, dog paddle, whatever, but I run out of breath because I get anxiety. The moment I come up and my feet can't touch the ground, it's instant anxiety.
That's why they thought you could swim, because you could do all that.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, because I used to just, yeah, I just play it off like I could swim. I just dive. I'm comfortable underneath.
Wow, that is like the epitome of fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you all for sharing. Next question is, if you could be a teacher for a day, what subject would you teach? I have a whole whackload of subjects that I would teach because I would love to be a teacher. If school didn't work out for me, I would totally teach because I think it would be incredible to be able to educate a group of people. I would teach art, I would teach science, or I would teach math. It would be one of those three for sure. Passing it right along to Nadia. Go ahead.
Yeah, so my question in the chat was only one. Okay, so I currently teach math, English, Spanish, and French. But if I had to pick one, geez, maybe math, because I feel like if there's so many life lessons you could draw from the way how math helps you to think. So probably that one, but I would hate to have to choose just one. And I'm passing on to my home slice, Lisa.
I think I'd have to go with finance, especially in instead of waiting for college, university, younger than that. So probably elementary, even. Teach them how to save.
Love that. Love that. You're passing it too?
I'll pass it on to Mark.
Hey, I would, similar to Lisa, it's financial management, money management. That's what I would like to teach. And also, I think some of you know, over the past year, I've kind of been working on learning how to trade stocks. So I would also put that into the mix. So I will pass it on to my home slice, Camille.
Thank you. For me, I'd be teaching life skills and emotional intelligence. Passing it to Patricia.
Okay, I can't swim, I can't read a bike, and they say I can't dance. So I would do freestyle dancing. I will have a class, they can dance whatever they want. If they stand on their head like this, it's dancing. If they, whatever, they're just gonna be free and dance. Pass it on to Carol, did you go? And stop eating nuts. I know you're eating nuts, because I can tell. I know Carol. That's her thing. Go, Carol.
Sorry, it's my addiction.
I know.
Oh, there's so much things. But what I would like to teach a child is confidence and positivity. A lot of kids are not confident of their abilities. And I would sure love to enhance that. I'll pass this on to Daniela.
Thank you, Carol. I would teach, well, I used to teach nursing, so I would actually really love to get back to that. But outside of that, I would teach yoga. I would do a yoga and meditation class. And I'm going to pass it on to Beverly. Did you go?
Okay, so I'm gonna give a little plug to our Me First boot camp. That's what I would like to be able to teach, and whether it's not just for women or young ladies, but also for young men, because I think sometimes people lose sight of who they are and they just don't know any better. So starting it from young is the way to go, because then you grow up, you've got confidence about who you are and what you do, and that would probably be a great thing.
For those who don't know Beverly, can you briefly describe what it is, Me First?
So the Me First boot camp that we are currently doing, it is for any participants who join. This is all self-led. Each of us have a turn doing a segment, and there's discussion. We do a little bit of deep breathing, and for the women who are collectively part of it now, you think you know people, but you really don't, and sometimes it's like everything stays on surface level. But this makes you open up and interact, and it helps to build your self-esteem most definitely. Really, really great event. And then we need to figure out how to get the men into it, right? Because I feel bad for Oliver and Mark and probably David. I think David would be great in it as well. So I don't know, maybe we need to look into doing it collectively, you know, with whoever is interested. If it's one of the gentlemen, great. I don't see why not.
We could even build that as a segment into these Sunday meetups, a little 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, we'll talk about that more. I'm going to pass it on. Who's not gone yet? David, did you go already? No? Okay.
Thank you, Ingrid. Yeah, I'm listening to all the good suggestions. I like what Camille and Carol said. In that same line, with a little bit of my own stuff bouncing back to health, it would be, you'd eventually get to spirituality, but I would take hockey down to the Caribbean. Nothing better than some good ice in a warm country. Thanks. Who's next?
David, you tell us. Who are you passing it to?
I can't see
Oh,
everybody.
I think only me and Ingrid left.
Oh, go ahead, Oliver.
Go ahead, Ingrid. Ladies before gentlemen.
Okay.
I think I would say for me, it would be something in terms of fitness, because it's something you need to, well, I think obesity is something for me that is a huge issue, you know, nationally, internationally. And for me, it's fitness because it's something that does not cost a lot. And you can do it from as a young child to an adult. And so that's what I like to see, a healthy world and people being healthy. And as Nadia say, even in her presentation, that exercise and fitness is important.
Thanks, Ingrid. I guess it's me. Wow. So many different things. I'll teach fearlessness. So much people are just fear, they're not living life. And when you fear, man, when you have fear and there's fear comes in so many different sizes, right? But fear is fear. So I'll literally teach fearlessness. Just do it, no regrets. That's it for me, Amanda. Back over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for sharing. Let's do one more question. The last one is, I love these questions because I get to know every single week. It's just a little bit more about all of you, and it's really fun. My last question is, what is your biggest dream? I'll start. My biggest dream has always been, and it will continue to always be until I reach where I need to be, medical school and becoming a fully licensed medical doctor. That is my biggest dream. I will pass it to Ingrid B.
And my biggest dream right now is to travel the world. I think there's a significant number of places I want to go to. I've been to a number, but there's so much more to see and just to understand other cultures and, you know, relish in their way of doing things. So that's, for me, is one of the biggest things I'd like. My biggest dream. And I'll pass it over to Lisa.
Ingrid, you took it out of my mouth. That was mine as well, to travel the world. And I will pass it on to Danielle.
My dream is to be a successful published author. So that would be my biggest thing. And I'll pass it on to Nadia.
So I said mine in the what would you do if you couldn't fail thing. So this has been my dream, my mission and my vision since I was about 14, to build this alternative school system in the Caribbean. So one way or another, I've been working on it and we'll get there somehow. So I'll pass on to Ingrid O.
One thing I would, I think I would continue with my medicine and probably become a doctor if I had that opportunity. I don't know if I'd do psychology. I like the study of the human interaction and stuff like that. At this time, date and age, if I could, I would go back and probably do psychology because I know I could continue to do it at any age. Who am I passing it on to? Oliver.
Thank you, thank you. My biggest dream is to impact over 10 million parents. You know, we're looking forward, we're all counting on the next generation, right? So we need some really fearless parents. So I would love to, that's my biggest dream, to impact over 10 million parents so we can change the world with our future generation. I'm gonna pass it over to, who didn't go yet? Raise your hands so I can choose. So let's go to David.
Thank you, Oliver. I'm seeing the similarity, at least for myself. Definitely have the dream similar to what Mark said about his ambition there, but mine would be to wake up one day or still be alive at the time when it happens, and that would be to when there's no racism, no prejudice, no judging, no starvation. It's not impossible. It's highly not probable, but in my lifetime, they're talking about paying back the American family heredity that were slaves, and it's been talked about, and some of it's been done already in many aspects, but something like, I can't remember the amount, $500 trillion broken up amongst, and it doesn't include the Caribbean. But I mean, there's so many ways to look at something like that, but just starvation and hunger, poverty, and then everyone is equal. All these things are thrown out and then gathered up, and then we go on to the next subject. So that's my dream, to see that happen. Did Nadia go? You went already? Okay. I think it's Danielle's turn. Thanks.
I went already, but I will pass it on to...
Sorry, you went already? Okay.
Yeah, that's
Mark?
okay, that's okay. Oh, okay.
Did I see Mark go?
No, I didn't go yet. So I guess a big dream for me would be to become financially free. And with that, we can do a lot of other things and help other people as well. I will pass it on to Beverly.
Sorry, guys. My son's in here playing the fool. For me, it would be travel the world. I don't know who's left. Oh, Camille.
Same as my better half, financial wealth, not just for now, but for my children, grandchildren, and great grandchildren, etc. Patricia, you're next.
I guess at this stage in my life, I would say travel as well, because this is what I was hoping to be able to do in pre-COVID. And also, I guess the kids, everybody can just be on equal footing and everybody starts off with the same balance and there's no good side or bad side. We're just in the room together and everybody's given the same opportunity all the way through. That would be it. Who hasn't gone? Did everyone go?
Carol has to go.
Carol. So I'll pass it off to Carol.
The nuts lady.
Yes.
Now you've told my secret to everyone.
I know, Carol. I'm so sorry. That's why I don't tell you any secrets about me.
My dream at this time in my life is for COVID to be over so I can continue traveling. I've missed my traveling. I want to see the world. And the world is waiting to see me sing.
Thank you, Camille. That was very much needed. Okay, so for the last around 15 minutes, we're gonna go through some riddles and then we will send out our feedback form. Thank you everyone for sharing. It was a great conversation with you guys as usual. I'm just pulling up I have to pass it off to Oliver. I'm trying to do all the talking. Oliver, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you very much. I was just enjoying the singing. One day we're gonna get Carol to sing live, but we're not gonna put her on the spot right now.
Well, one way to make my money is to pay me to stop singing.
Love it. Allow me to share my screen. We're gonna do some riddles for a little bit, for probably about 12 minutes or so before we get into, and I think Ingrid might have a special announcement and then we're gonna get into our feedback. So let me share the screen for riddles. Riddle me this, riddle me that. Guess this or perhaps not. That was, what happened to my screen? Can you guys see my shared screen?
Yes, but it's not the riddle that you just read. It's a different riddle.
No, that's just the beginning.
Oh, that's your intro. Okay.
Thank you. That's my intro. But for some reason, I can't see my screen. Hold on, give me a second. Something is happening here. Usually, what I remember as a kid, when our parents or aunt or whatever, I was gonna talk about riddles, that's what they say. Riddle me this, riddle me that, guess this or perhaps not.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what that means, really. I just remember that line. I don't know how, but I just remember.
We are Riddle Marie. Your father had a tree.
Love it. Okay, let me share my screen again because I don't know what's happening here. I can share my screen, but I couldn't see you guys. So, where'd it go? Okay, all right. I'm not even gonna worry about that right now, as long as they can see it.
You're giving us the riddles.
Yes. So, oops. If you don't keep me, I'll break. What am I?
A
If you don't
secret?
keep me, I'll break. Retreats here.
I've got my hand up.
Oh,
Yeah, let me
How do you
know.
do it? Sorry?
Go ahead. I didn't see you for a second. Now I can see you guys. Perfect.
Okay.
Go ahead.
An appointment.
No. Try again. If you don't keep me, I'll break.
a rule?
You're on the right track, but no.
Oh, I got it. Yeah.
A secret?
You're also on the right track.
Can I go again or no?
Of course.
Promise?
You got it. You got it. A promise. You're running a race and just passed this person second place. What place did you finish the race? You just passed the second place person.
Second.
Right? Yeah, it makes you think. Yes, exactly. Second place.
That's not a riddle.
Somebody says that's not a riddle. What is
Just
what,
math.
what is it?
It said you just passed the person in second place. That doesn't mean you finished the race.
You're first. Good one, Jalea.
It's just math. She says just math.
I'll make sure next time that they're all riddles. My bad.
It is riddles. What is in seasons, seconds, and minutes, but not in decades, years, or days? What is in seasons, seconds, and minutes, but not in decades, years, or days?
The letter N?
Yep. Wow. You throw away the outside and cook the inside. Then you eat the outside and throw away the inside. What did you eat?
Oh, corn.
Yeah, what is it? An ear of a corn.
Oh.
Was I wrong?
Oh, yes. Yeah, the ear of a corn. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the next one? I know a word of letters. I know a word of letters 3, add 2, and few there will be.
Few.
And few will be.
The answer is few.
I know a word of letters.
Few.
Add
Two.
2.
And fewer.
The answer is few.
Yes, yes.
Right.
I thought you were reading. Sorry, I heard the answer, but I thought you were reading because I mess up. Yes, the answer is few. Few. Where am I? Okay. Walk on the living, they don't even mumble. Walk on the dead, they mutter and grumble. What are they? Walk on the living, they don't even mumble. Walk on the dead, they mutter and grumble. What are they?
Grass seeds? I don't know.
I'm going to give you guys a hint.
Is it leaves?
Leaves.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I was going to say leaves.
Yes, leaves. Forward it's heavy, backward it's not. What is it? Forward is heavy, backwards is not. Is that
Kite?
No. I like your direction though.
Would it be wind?
No.
No.
This one is really tricky. If you guys get this, man, kudos.
Oh, I get it.
She even looking at the answer the whole time and she couldn't get it. That's how tough it is.
Okay, so maybe we could do this all together. I'm thinking it's a word that spells one thing forward and it spells something else backward, and the forward word is heavy and the backward word is light, but I don't know what that word.
That is correct.
Would it be
correct.
ton? N-O-T-T-O-N?
Not. That's right. Yeah.
What? I knew that.
Thanks for the hint, Nadia.
Not. Yeah.
Coral got it.
That's
What was the
good.
answer? What was the answer to that one?
Ton.
Ton and not.
Yeah.
Ton heavy.
That's good.
Mark is still looking on that one.
Yeah, I didn't get it. Say it one more time.
Ton, you know, ton is heavy, right?
And
T-O-N.
not?
Yeah, not. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Backwards is not.
Forwards heavy, backwards is not.
Yeah.
I go around in circles, but always straight ahead. I never complain, no matter where I am led. What am I? You like that one?
Is that your head or something like that?
Say that again, sorry.
Your head?
No.
Your
wheel.
Yes. Yes.
Oh.
So what has hands and yet cannot clap?
The clock.
Clock.
Okay. All right. I see. The more there is, the less you'll see.
No?
The more there is, the less you see.
Fog?
Oh,
yeah.
You're in the right direction.
What was that?
Fog.
Oh, fog.
And it's not snow?
What did you say, Mark?
I don't know. Darkness?
Darkness is correct. Darkness. You have to say dark, okay? Darkness. What has teeth but cannot bite?
Comb.
I mean, that's the easiest thing ever.
Did Amanda give us that one before?
Was it a comb?
A comb.
Oh, did you say coat?
Comb. A whole bunch of
Oh,
us.
comb. Okay. Sorry, comb.
I think Nadia said it too.
Yeah, comb.
I think we all said it.
What part of the road do ghosts love to travel?
Oh, I get it.
You get it?
In the blind spot?
I like your direction, but not quite.
That's not part of a road.
Avery said ghost town.
The dead end.
David is correct. Dead end. Dead end. What tastes better than it smells?
Oh, this is.
Ooh. That one is kind of tricky.
Durian fruit.
Ooh?
It's an Asian fruit. It's called durian. Apparently it's
No. What tastes better than it smells?
Your tongue?
Jeez.
Ding, 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 ding. Wow. Wow.
Oh, Carol.
Your tongue stinks.
No, I said cow tongue.
Oh. You bury me, but when I'm alive, and dig me up when I'm dead. What? You bury me when I'm alive and dig me up when I'm dead. What am I?
A plant?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Correct. So we're going to do one more. It's 8:55. One more.
Yeah.
Then I believe we have a special announcement, and then it's going to be feedback. You answer me, but I never ask you a question. What am I?
A telephone?
Ooh. Who said that?
Patricia.
Wow, nice. Good one. You got it.
Answer?
Telephone.
Telephone.
That's the answer?